What is going on, guys? Today I'm bringing you another mask review, and that is the HK Army SLR. The SLR is the newest flagship mask for HK Army. As you can tell, it is quite a bit different from the KLR. If you want to go ahead and look at my KLR review, you can go ahead and do that in the link in the description. But the SLR is the biggest and baddest that has been recently released by the company. One thing you're going to notice about this mask is that it's adopted a lot of things in the industry. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be like, that's copying, everything like that. But paintball goggles used to just be goggles, right? And now they actually have bottoms on it. Imagine the first paintball company comes out with bottoms on their mask, right? And now everyone's making bottoms on their mask and you're calling everyone a copycat. I mean, honestly, if it's good for the industry, if it's good for paintball players, I think it should be adopted. And I'm gonna go over a few of those things when it comes to this mask. Now, the HK Army is a single rubber design, a lot like the Bunker King CMD. When I first saw these, I thought Bunker King's CMD, just because of the way that the nose kind of comes out, it gives you some of that breathing room. And then also it has a lot of venting. It has some really nice venting on the side, allows for some pretty decent breathing when you're out there running around. And it also has some venting by the ears, so you can go ahead and hear what other people are saying to you, which is really important when communicating, especially in speedball. And the lens has been adopted from the KLR. It's the same exact lens. I really like it. I did have some fogging with the KLR. However, I think that was due to the design of the mask, and I really only had fogging when I was in the woods in humid conditions. But I took this one into the jungles of Okinawa, and honestly, I ran around, I purposely took really heavy breaths. I tried to get this to fog, and I didn't get any fogging, which I was really pleasantly surprised, because honestly, I thought for sure it was gonna fog, but I think it's because of the design that allows the air to kind of come out, which makes that really nice. Now, go ahead and looking at the back of the mask, you're automatically gonna notice this pad here, a lot like the Virtue pad, right? Obviously, this was adopted by HK Army. Is this a good idea? I don't see why not. I think it's a really cool thing that Virtue came up with. HK Army went ahead and made one of their own. It allows the mask to stay nice and sturdy on their head, has tons of silicone on it, so you know it's not gonna move anywhere. And if you wanted to remove it, you can go ahead and do that as well. I know that you could do the same thing with the Virtue one. I would say that this is a little better quality than the Virtue one. I actually have a Virtue Contour 2. That pad is completely beat up. This one looks a little bit more robust. It has nice rubber lettering everywhere. It's just a little bit of a nicer design, I'd say, compared to the original Virtue version. However, I will say that this is a lot stiffer, so it does not contour to your head as well, so take that into consideration. It has a very basic strap. I will say it is a relatively nice strap, so if you didn't want to use this pad, you can go ahead and do that. And I don't have a visor, but you could get a visor for this thing, which is really great. This is the HK Army tri-layer foam. I really don't mind the foam. However, it does pinch my nose. Now, I got a little bit of a big nose, all right? So it does get pinched a little bit. However, maybe you might not have this issue. I know I do, but just take that in consideration when buying this mask. The foam is soft. Is it the nicest foam out there? I don't think so, so take that in consideration as well. However, all the foam is removable and replaceable. That's important because if your foam gets ripped, torn, whatever, you can just buy new foam instead of buying a new mask, which is nice when it comes to the SLR. And also something that is kind of an industry standard at this point. Now, you're gonna notice another thing, and that is the magnetic chin strap. The magnetic chin strap has been around since the Push Unite. I think it's a great thing. I think it's cool to have a nice, easy clip-on, clip-off system with a magnet. However, like I've said in previous reviews of my goggles, I tend to just keep it clipped and I don't unclip it. However, if you're someone who is constantly coming on and off the field, especially during tournaments, unclipping your mask, this makes it easier. Now, if you're looking for a goggle with a lot of protection, a lot more than the KLR had, this is it. It provides fantastic protection, and like I said, tons of venting all the way around the mask to improve breathability. Now, it has the original KLR lenses in it, which I really didn't mind. The front of it is off the face, so you really feel it protruding off your face, but allows the hot air to come out. So that's a good thing. Now, as far as communication, that's where I had a little bit of a problem. When I speak into this mask, I get a lot of reverberation back into my ears. It could be the way the front is designed, I'm not entirely sure, but when I speak, it comes right back out. I'm not sure if you can tell when I'm talking right now, but when I'm speaking, I hear it go directly back into my ears, and all I hear is my voice. Now, I can see if I'm playing on a paintball field, it's just reverberating back into my ears. That would be kind of irritating. I will say that, like, when I'm not talking, I can hear really well. It's almost like I'm speaking and I have an intercom in my mask and I'm hearing myself talk. That's kind of the way it is. When I wear another mask, like a ProFlex, for example, this is a non-issue. However, with this mask, you definitely notice it. Now, when it comes to the lens change system, it is a quick change lens system. If you go ahead and look into the inside of your masks, you're gonna see a little push button tab. All you have to do is push down and push forward, and essentially that front clip is gonna pull out, and you can do it to the other side as well. Once your goggle strap is essentially removed, from there what you're gonna do is you're gonna push out on the inner tabs on each side of the mask. And you're gonna kind of hear like an audible click. Now what you're gonna have to do is also pull up on this black portion here so you can remove it. It's essentially 3 tabs, and then you have a piece. I never like when you have to change out a lens and you have pieces everywhere. This to me is a downgrade from the previous version, which also wasn't super great, but this is definitely a downgrade from the lens change system of the KLR. I don't know why they got rid of like that hinge system. Maybe it's because they're gonna come out with other colors and it's easier to snap in the different colors so you can mix and match and stuff like that. But personally, you should never have little pieces lying around, kind of like the Empire E-Flex, right? Those tiny little pieces. I don't know why they went this route, but they did. Once you get those 2 pieces off, your lens is essentially free. You can go ahead and remove it. And then you put on the lens the same way you took it off. You put the lens back on, then you're gonna go ahead and snap in those black pieces back into where they go. You're gonna have to press down pretty hard to get them snapped back in. And once they're snapped back in, you're gonna pull that little it's kind of like a hook system. You're gonna hook it over the nub and pull, and you're gonna see that little tab slide back in and snap in place. Make sure you can't push forward on it and they don't slide out. And then you know your lens is secure and you went ahead and changed the lens on your SLR. And one thing is that it comes with a mask bag. The mask bag doesn't really fit the goggle really well. It's definitely a cheaply made mask bag. It's not super great. You may want like an Exalt goggle case for this thing. It's completely up to you, but this one is not super great. I know HK Army also makes goggle cases. You may want to get one for your SLR. Now the SLR retails for $129. All right, so it's $130 for this mask. That's a pretty good price for a high-end mask. Now mind you, there are other options out there that are still a really good price, but for 130 bucks, this isn't too bad. It is really breathable. I do like the amount of venting it has on it. It has a solid lens that they took from the KLR. It does have removable foam just in case it gets destroyed or whatever. You can go ahead and replace it. Has a nice strap, has a strap pad, has a good chin strap, but there's a few things that I'm not a huge fan of when it comes to the SLR. The foam is not super great. The strap pad is pretty stiff. Maybe it'll loosen up with time, but it is pretty stiff. The lens change system is not the best. It's not the worst lens change system in the world, but it's not the best. Why you would want to take it apart and then there's pieces laying around, I don't know. They should have just stuck with the hinge system from the KLR if they couldn't think of anything better. Additionally, communication on this thing is not great. The echo is intense, kind of like an intercom in your ear so you can hear yourself talk. I think that is a design flaw with this mask. So I'm hoping HK Army essentially fixes that when they come out with a new version of their high-end mask. This mask is not the lightest mask in the world, but it's not the heaviest. It just feels weird on the face to me. It feels kind of front heavy because it does stick out kind of far. It just feels like all the weight's here, if that makes sense. Now, would I recommend this mask? Yes and no. It just depends. It's one of the middle of the rung high-end masks where it's not super great, but it's not bad either. So it's kind of just there. It's kind of what I would consider a okay high-end mask, right? If you like the way it looks, it's gonna function for you, okay? You're gonna be able to play in it, you're gonna be able to see, you're gonna be able to breathe. There's just those minor things that I mentioned that you may not like when you get this mask, and I have to tell you about them because that's how I do my reviews. So if you're looking for a mask, it really depends. I highly recommend you try on the mask. Like, a mask is so critically important. Definitely try on the mask wear it if you can. Go to your local pro shop, put the mask on, all right? And if you like it, then get it. You don't know until you wear it on your face. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share the video, hit the bell so you know when I'm posting more videos. It really helps the channel out so I can continue to create more content, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.